Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are enjoying this beautiful morning that Abba Yah has allowed us to wake up this morning. Just wanted to come take you on a walk with me. There's been a couple of things on my mind. This won't be long, but just wanted to kind of talk about Yah's perfect timing and why his timing is perfect. Good morning, everyone. I'm taking you on a come walk with me vlog. I want to talk to you about a couple of things, so I'll see you in a moment. So I want to kind of talk about why Abba Yah's timing is perfect and why it is important to wait on him. He tells us that those who wait on Yah shall not be ashamed. His timing is perfect. It's because he is all-knowing. There are times when we want things to happen when we want them to happen. And sometimes those things are not happening because he knows that if they occur at his non-appointed time for you in your life, in your season, it would not yield the fruits that he wants in your life. And so oftentimes, and when I'm speaking oftentimes, I'm speaking myself included. So oftentimes we will think because things are not happening exactly the way that we want them and when we want them to happen, that we'll automatically assume that that means that Yah has said no, when sometimes it's not no, but it's later. And I'm using myself as an example because there had been something that I had been praying about, something that I felt was rightfully mine, and it was. It's something that I've been wanting to happen, or something that was supposed to happen, and it got delayed. And I was kind of upset about the fact that it got delayed, and I'm thinking, Abba, why, is this getting delayed? Why I have been waiting for this, for maybe 3 to 4 years for what I wanted to happen, and it finally, according to my time, because remember, our time is not his. Yah does not work within the realm of time. So I'm thinking, why is this not happening? Why I've been waiting for years for this thing to happen. It's my time for this blessing to be mine, but it was delayed. And I was kind of upset about it. And I had been praying, earnestly praying before the Father for this thing to happen. And I wanted this thing to happen quickly. And so I knew that Yah wanted me to wait because he kept sending me the scriptures that talked about being still, and scriptures that talked about waiting. And so I knew then that it wasn't going to happen right away. And I have a relationship that's close enough, and I communicate with him enough to know, you know, when he's sending me to these scriptures, when I'm being led to these type of scriptures, to wait and to be still, that although I think that it is my time to have it, I kind of knew in the back of my mind, because I know Yah and I know how he communicates with me, I kind of knew in the back of my mind that it's not his appointed time for me to have it. Okay? And so some things I've been just praying more earnestly. So some things kind of occurred, some changes occurred at the end of August. And I'm not going to go into those things, but there's been some changes. So that thing that I had been praying for, hallelujah, it came right when this change, and this change that happened, and I guess it depends on how you look at it. Most, when I look at it as something that is pleasant, sometimes when things happen to us, and we may lose a person, we may end a relationship, we may lose a job, there may be a change, something happens where there's a loss, something happens where it may appear to be a loss, but it's really a gain. And so I'll put it that way. And so when this change happened at the end of August, at a time that was unexpected, didn't see this thing coming, okay? When it happened, guess what, guys? Did not Yah release this blessing? Did he not release this thing that I have been praying for, that I have been waiting for years? He released it. And so although I had that unfortunate change, that unfortunate loss or circumstance, Yah made certain that what looked like the fire that I was getting ready to go into, he made sure that while I'm in the fire, that I'm not getting burned, that I'm like those Hebrew boys that trusted in his word and stood. And so Yah made sure, although I had this, like I said, this thing that looked like I was getting ready to go in the fire, in the furnace, Yah made certain that I came out of the situation. He released this thing, this blessing, this appointed thing that I had been praying for, and what was rightfully mine, but he allowed it to be delayed. And at the time when it was delayed for 2 years, because even prior to this blessing, this thing that was due to me, even though the verdict was given that, it was mine and that I was going to finally have it, I have been I'm going through the process of getting to that point for about 4 to 5 years, even prior to that. So when it finally happened, I'm like, okay, I gotta wait. After all, I gotta wait. But then and then when it finally, came through and it was no longer time to wait, then Yah says, no, you're gonna wait 2 more years. And I'm thinking, what? I gotta wait? So, patience has not always been I can be patient. I've learned how to be patient. I can say that I've learned how to be now, but it's only through me being put in circumstances where I actually have to be patient, if you know what I'm saying, because that is a fruit of the Spirit. And so through that patience, you learn endurance. You learn how to stand. You learn how to trust and know that anything that you obtain, any good that's happening in your life, is by His power, it's by His will. He appoints it. He ordains the things that go on in your life. He causes you to know. He causes you to see and to experience and to understand. Like He told the Israelites, not by your power. Don't say when you get into this land that I have brought myself, that I have done these things. You know, He said, you're eating from a vineyard that you didn't plant. Many of us that are listening to the sound of my voice, and I'm walking, so if I sound like I'm out of breath, I'm walking. But many of you that listen to the sound of my voice are eating from a vineyard that you didn't plant. I'm telling you today, and this is a testimony. And so that's the reason why I am, sharing, doing this vlog, is because I'm telling you today that Yah has opened up. He's made sure that although I had what looked like a loss, although it looked like I was getting ready to go into the furnace, into the fire, Yah released it 3 days later. 3 days later, within that same week, I got the call. It's done. You're getting ready to get it. The appointed time is now. This is your season. The harvest is here. Eat. Enjoy. And so I'm doing this testimony because I want to encourage someone today. I want to encourage someone this morning to know that if you are in covenant with Yah and you belong to Him and you keep His word and you fear Him and you truly do, with everything that is in you, try to live an upright life. You striving for perfection, okay? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing. When people say, well, nobody's perfect, that's a lie. Oh, we don't have to be perfect. That's a lie. Because that's not what Abba Yah says. He says, be ye perfect for your Father in heaven. Heaven is perfect. Be ye holy for your Father in heaven is holy. If we were created in His image, to be in His image and His likeness, then shouldn't His creation look like Him? Shouldn't we be in His likeness? Shouldn't we think like Him? Shouldn't we walk like Him? When we are in the world, they should be able to see a difference. Here's that garden, guys. They should be able to see the difference between you and those that are in the world. They should. They should be able to see a difference. And so, Yah has made sure that although the enemy thought he was getting ready to turn the heat up, He made sure it's like I'm sitting in the fire with a wet, cold blanket around me. Yah has made sure that blessing came through right when it was supposed to come through. He says that He is your shepherd. You shall not want. That means you shall not lack. You shall not lack any good thing. Yah does not withhold any good thing from His children. His whole purpose, He wanted to make sure in the garden that Adam and Eve had everything that they needed, everything they wanted. Just as a good parent, you're always sitting around thinking, as a parent, how can you make sure that your child has a better life? What can you do to make sure that they become everything that Yah purposed in them? That's part of our job as a parent, not to train them up in the ways of the world, but to train them up in His Word and to actually sit down and think, become familiar with the Word of Yah, become intimate with His Word, so that you can learn of your Creator, learn of your Abba Yah, learn of His ways, learn what He is like, learn His likes and His dislikes, become so intimate and one with Him that you know Him like the back of your hand. Like when you know a person, you know who they are. And that's where you want to be, so that you can make sure, okay, I know this is like my Father. I know this is what pleases Him. So I am going to make sure that I steer my children as just like those tennis players. You think Venus and Serena's and those basketball players, you think they just become that? Their parents had them trained up in the way that they wanted them to go. From birth, they put that basketball in their hand. From birth, they put that tennis. You know, they want to make, they went to train. They train. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Training them up in the ways of Yah. Putting that word in them. Even before they can hold the Bible. Put that word in them while they're in the womb. Speak that word over them while they're in the womb. They can hear. Children can hear in the womb. Studies and research have shown they can hear. I know for a fact my son heard me. I used to pray over him while he was in my womb. And I know for a fact that he heard me. Because when he first heard my voice, when the nurse brought him to me the next morning, because I was so sick that I couldn't even hold him that night of, and he came out breathing only 70%. So he was under distress. So they had to put him in an incubator to help him, and then he was okay the next morning. And that's because my blood pressure had rose up, even though I didn't have high blood pressure, but it rose up really high. So, but he was under distress. And so that next morning, when I saw him that next morning, the nurse had him in her hand and she was going to give him to me, but the direction that she had him was in a direction where I was facing the back of his head, and I was walking towards him. So his face was facing the nurse, but I was walking from behind. And I said, "Is that my baby? Is that my baby?" And he heard me say, "Is that my baby?" And when I tell you that he turned, and I'm talking about a baby that's less than 24 hours, he turned his head. Oh. And when I say oh, I'm emphasizing on oh. Oh. The way around. He turned his head all the way around to try to see his mother. He tried to see his mother. He recognized my voice because I spoke to him. I read the Bible while he was in my womb to him. I prayed while he was in my womb. Even when he was a baby. When he came out of my womb, I would pray, and I would pray Matthew chapter 6, "Our Father who art in heaven." I would pray that prayer. And do you know that one time we were at a Hebrew congregation? This is when I first came into the truth. And this was back in 2005, early 2005. He could barely talk. He's mumbling. But he was saying a prayer with me, and the minister asked me to lead the prayer. So I led the prayer, and as I was praying, and I was saying, "Our Father who art in heaven," and he began, and I had him on my hip, and he was like, "That's not that name, that kind." Now he was trying. He couldn't say it, but you could hear it enough. You can hear it enough where you can make out that he was trying to say the prayer that he had been hearing since he was in the womb. So how do you think he knew that? It came from me, his mother, training him up in that word and speaking that word to him even before he came out the womb. And so that is what Yah expects for us to do, is to train our children up to be in his image and in his likeness. He's trying to restore our souls back to the state that we were when Adam and Eve were in the garden. So as parents, we're responsible for training them up in the image and the likeness of Yah, and not mimicking the world. And so let me get back to what I was saying, because I'm getting ready to end this. But we have to know that Yah's timing is perfect. Okay? His timing is perfect. His timing is on time. He's not held within the confines of our timing. His timing is on time. So although things may not be happening for you when you want them to happen, sometimes they're being delayed because he knows what's ahead. I didn't know what was ahead. I had no idea of what was ahead, but Yah did. And he made sure that although one door was closing, although it looked like I was going in the fire, he made sure that I didn't get burned. He says, Scripture says that Yah is your shepherd. You says our shepherd, I shall not want. That means I shall not lack. I shall not lack. If you're his child, if you're in covenant relationship with him, you shall not lack. Do not be anxious of anything. Okay, make all your prayers and your petitions known unto him, for he cares for you. He knows what you have need. So I keep getting cut off, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. But I just wanted to say this. As soon as it appears that, sometimes when you come into this truth, it seems like that's when things happen. And some of you may be saying, it seemed like as soon as I came into this truth, as soon as I make the decision that I'm getting ready to fear Yah and to keep his commandments, now it seems like all hell is breaking loose. And that is a trick of the enemy to make you think that serving Yah is not good. Serving Yah means that you don't have what you need. Serving Yah means that you're going to suffer that. And suffering and enduring is a part of it. And so I want to encourage you today to know that even while you're enduring, because only those that endure to the end shall be saved, even while you're enduring, even while you're going through the fire, know that Yah is with you. Don't allow the enemy to think because you may be going through financial strains right now. You may be trying to make ends meet. You may be in a position where you may have lost your job, or you may be at a job that you really don't like, but you're there because you don't want to be without. Yah hears your prayers. If you are in covenant with him and you are truly in a relationship with him, he wants nothing but the best for us. My prayer is to you is to endure and to wait. His timing is perfect. I'm going to tell you right now, if that blessing, that what I was praying for had happened 2 years ago, I would be in the fire right now, but I would be getting burned. I would be suffering. Yah made sure that I was taken care of. And so my message to you today is to trust in Yah. Trust in his word. Trust in his perfect timing, because his timing is perfect. His appointed times are perfect because he knows what's ahead. And sometimes he's saving you. Sometimes things are not happening, and things that you may even sometimes think are a blessing, they're really not a blessing, because he knows once you get them that it's going to bring you a lot of distress, a lot of stress, just period, just bringing you a lot of heartache. And so when you're praying as Yah, what should I be praying for? What should my desires be? Give me my desires so that I can desire the things that you have for me, and the things that you want for me to have, and I don't. If they're not here, give me a spirit where I will learn how to wait, because this is a fruit of the spirit. So this is my message today. Wait on Yah, his perfect timing. His timing is perfect every time. And so I love you all. Shalom.